Hello and welcome again to this thing that is always highly questionable. What do you like on today's show, Izzy?
Well, Michael Jordan pretending like he didn't have the most super team of all the super teams. Come on now.
Dale, papi.
Where the Cubs closure did the Nationals choke like dogs.
Man, it was such a fun game last night. Weird, a lot of incompetence. Both teams were incompetent, and the Cubs were slightly less incompetent. Let's look here at Matt Wieters, the catcher for the Nationals. He was a disaster last night. Because baseball's got all these guys who are just there to hit giant home runs and strike out, and it doesn't matter what their defense is. And then here, the game gets decided, right? We're going to call them chokers and end their season because the game gets decided on this play here. In the 8th inning, they're within a run. Their backup catcher's on first base. He's not going anywhere. And then we go to replay, and it was stupid the way we did that with replay. You can't decide a season this way. Turning that over, making that into an out, you ended Washington's season totally the wrong way.
Now, for starters here, 4 hours and 37 minutes, the longest 9-inning postseason game ever, in a time where we're trying to shorten the game. That's pretty funny. It's actually really funny. But these are the types of games that we want to see. These are the best games. And so you kind of have to deal with the fact that they're as long as, you know, an O.J. Simpson documentary when you watch them. But, yeah, we talked yesterday about the Indians fans being so frustrated. If you're a Nats fan, like, what do you do with that? What do you do with, you know, you do everything you're supposed to do. You take a lead, and then all of a sudden, you know, Scherzer falls apart out of the bullpen. You get an overturned call that, yeah, I didn't really think deserved to be overturned. Like, what can you do with that? You take it all, you blame Dusty Baker, and then you just try again next year.
Well, this is the thing, though. The Nationals' body of work is being held against them because Washington as a city tends to lose. But you got to give credit. Chicago, the Cubs, the lovable losers for a century. Their catcher with the season on the line is throwing behind the backup catcher on first base if that throw goes into right field. Like, that was really aggressive. The backup catcher was surprised because we all were, because nobody does that in that situation.
It came down to one lousy call.
That's right.
One lousy call.
That's right.
That catcher got hit with the bat on the helmet, and the ump didn't call it.
Oh.
He didn't even review it.
Oh.
That was supposed to be a strike. That was supposed to be a strikeout. You know, I'm telling you something.
Okay.
That's right. And then all hell broke loose,
Yeah.
you know. This is where Dusty made a mistake. You know, when you come out of that dugout and you're going to face that damn, you got to take that toothpick out of your mouth and just use it against the amp. You know, just poke the amp in the eye, in the face, you know, until he changes his call. That's all. That's what you got to do, you know. Probably he's not going to be managing the Nationals next year because of that blunder.
Okay. All right. My father needs, all right,
right.
Bloody situation.
Sword fights. That's what we need in baseball. Tiny sword fights.
Could the Eagles be the best team in the NFC?
Well, of course they could. Like, anybody could be the best team in football right now. You just don't know. You know,
but they're the one that played last night.
Right.
And so we got to talk about them because they played last night and they won, and we got to talk about the NFL winning.
And they were the only team that played last night. And, you know, it's hard to gauge teams when you talk about watching them on Thursday Night Football. You don't really know if the Carolina Panthers are that good, right? Because they really have a pass defense. The Eagles do that Cam Newton should have been able to eat up, and he didn't. And, the Panthers were there at the end, and so you kind of wonder, here's what I do know. Here's all I know. Carson Wentz, the list of people that I would have ahead of him at quarterback is shrinking. And right now, that list does not include Cam Newton, a guy who just won MVP a couple of years ago. So that's what I'll take out of that Thursday.
Wow, so don't make too many determinations off the
Just
first 5 games, except that one, that Wentz is already better than the MVP of the league from 2 years ago. I would say that while we know very little about who's good and who's bad in the league, something that I do feel like I know, it's not Wentz. That offensive line is the best I've seen in football this year. I used to think of it of Oakland, of Dallas. That line is protecting him, and one of the reasons that he's so fearless back there is because he knows he's protected. He has made a leap that gets made from year 1 to year 2 by the great quarterbacks, but he's also playing a very safe game back there, and so safe that he doesn't mind going looking for contact when he's in your secondary because he doesn't get hit much when he's back there.
He's also a big dude.
He's never going to give a credit to anybody but Aaron Rodgers as far as the quarterback is concerned. You know that?
I'm not going to.
It's the offensive line. It's not Wentz, you know. But with Aaron Rodgers, easy man, easy man,
my
easy
gosh,
man.
that's right.
He's got a terrible offensive line.
He does. Those Packers
dancing
are
around to make
betraying
magic
him.
happen.
Aaron Rodgers would be doing so many things behind this offensive line.
Is it funny or sad that Fidel Godel's wife used a fake Twitter account to defend him?
All right, I believe his face has answered this question for you. And if you'd seen my father's face when he walked in here today, he had a big smile on his face. And I thought it's because some people in the sports bar downstairs recognized him, slapped him on the back, took some pictures with him. No, he was giggling about Roger Goodell's wife defending him anonymously as an egg on Twitter. I'm not as cynical as my old man. I believe in the power of one love, fighting in the shadows on behalf of her man when everyone is against it, but I'm evolved. My father likes to just laugh at it.
It was funny. What would have been funnier if she was on there dogging Roger Goodell just like everybody else, because that's the sad part about this. She's probably the only voice in higher social media defending
that's how we
this
found
guy.
Him. Yeah, that's how the Wall Street Journal did the investigation on this. I'm
just
sorry to
find
interrupt
the one defender. Yeah, and here's the funniest part. What are the odds Roger Goodell knew about this? He had to have known about this for some time. Has been like, okay, honey, just keep going for a while. There's no way he didn't know.
Okay, but I just love the idea of, I want a camera on all these people as the Wall Street Journal is making the call to the wife to see if they can confirm this story. The Wall Street Journal doing big, important journalism, making that call, questioning the life, and then she picks up the phone, and now she's got to go to Roger. Honey, this egg thing is out. And they're coming after us. We need to delete the account. I love to see them both around the computer, both deleting things.
Hide all the eggs.
That might be a feeling you'll never have. A wife defending you on Twitter?
Or anybody. Or anybody.
Well, no, that's not true. Wait a minute. He's a little bit of a fraud here, okay? Because my father has been caught by my mother in these comment sections under assumed names defending his son, the controversial columnist he had.
Oh, wow.
Yes, my mother has caught him doing this. That's a true story.
Fit right in the Goodell family.
That's right. Right down my alley.
Sneaking around in the shadows, fighting people.
Who knew he actually liked you, Dan?
Is it better for the Cowboys if Ezekiel Elliott keeps appealing or just serve his suspension?
Yeah, you want him on the field as much as you can have him on the field, and you don't want to admit guilt. You don't want to just go away without a fight, especially the way that everything is broken in terms of the players, the employees, and how punishment is meted out in that sport. What he could do, though, is just wait inevitably for injury to come, because it will come, to visit any running back and then stop the appeals right then, the moment he's hurting too much to play, and just say, okay, I'll take my 6 games now.
Well, it is interesting here when you look at this, and it doesn't look like the signs are pointing in your direction. Your federal appeal does not go in your favor, and now you want to appeal again. If it's not going to happen, you might as well go ahead and start your 6-game suspension now. Maybe this season turns around. Maybe it doesn't, because they don't look so special this year, especially defensively, so it would be the time to do it. But I'm curious what Jerry Jones is saying when he thinks Ezekiel Elliott is being treated unfairly in this process. Because all these courts are doing are trying to find out if Roger Goodell acted within his bounds, within the rules of the NFL. And the court's telling you he did, so what part of that is unfair if it is what Roger Goodell is allowed to do, what you as an owner and part have allowed him to do?
This is what I can assure you, though, as it relates to Jerry Jones. Even if Ezekiel Elliott wants to sit for 6 games, he doesn't want Ezekiel Elliott to sit for 6 games. He's sitting here trying to win his first championship since Jimmy Johnson days, and he wants to win now in a window that keeps closing on him. My guess is that he believes in this just as much, if not more, than Ezekiel does.
Ring, ring, ring. Hello? Yeah? Oh, Ted, how are you? Ted Wells.
Ted Wells.
Yeah.
Okay.
You think that the NFL should do a report?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
on Ezekiel Elliott to see if they can pull it off. Yeah. Only $5 million. Boy, that's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, $5 million investigation.
All right, I'll pass the word around, buddy. Don't worry about it. You know, I know that you can do it. You did it before, so that's a hell of a deal. I know that. I know. I'm not going to chisel you down. I know that.
No negotiations.
It's a wireless phone, by the way.
I mean, no, it's not.
Is it good for U.S. soccer that Bruce Arena stepped down?
I don't know. I mean, let's be honest. I don't know if we have bad coaching or if we don't have enough talent on this U.S. soccer team. I do know they have a special talent in Christian Pulisic, but do they have enough talent? I know they've had their special moments with Bruce Arena at the helm, both this tenure and the last one, but I don't know if they've had enough to actually keep him around. What I do know is if you're trying to start this over, if you're trying to have a renaissance of U.S. soccer, you probably don't want the face of the biggest failure U.S. soccer has had in the past several generations still at the helm. So naturally, it's a no-brainer. He has to go.
I love what he did there, though, where he said what I would have said, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. But yeah, fire him. You got to fire him because I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. But fire him because I'm embarrassed, and just fire him because that's where we are with this team. The only reason I know this guy's name is because he's a part of this team, because he's made himself himself famous in world circles in a way that would allow him to coach this team, and he's responsible. He's at the head of an epic failure. I don't know. See you later.
There is one guy that I know who can take USA team all the way to the top.
Who?
You know who that guy is?
No.
You don't know who that guy is?
Who is that guy, Poppy? Oh, that guy. That guy. He doesn't have a name. We don't know who he is. We need to get him over here near American soccer. There. They're right there. He's getting American soccer right out of there. Dug it right out of there, and that's what it smells like. Yeah.
What will he take them to the top of?
Yes. What will he make them? Yes.
The mountaintop.
No, not the mountaintop.
Stinky mountain.
No. He will take them to the top of some place that doesn't smell so good.
Pile of sewage.
Coming up next on Highly Questionable.
Convenience store in Kalamazoo.
The My Cousin Vinny situation.
Okay. Oh, he's hiding the gun. Oh, because somebody came in. That person was very wise. Money, a gun, I'm going to
coward.
Play the game that thinks Dan needs to stop skipping leg day. Do you question?
You give us topics and events, and we question them.
He's doing it for both of us. We kind of petered out there. I'm sorry. We started so strong with my father not knowing the Dallas Mavericks, not knowing whether they were the Dallas Cowboys, and we kind of petered out there. We kind of got bored. Sorry.
The way a 40-year-old Vince Carter would, right?
I'm sorry.
In the preseason.
We are kind of Vince Carter. We're all Vince Carter.
Do you question whether the clerk made a great play or the thief blew it?
Why is this so low in the show? Like, I feel like we should have led with this instead of we feel obligated to, like, cover that Thursday night game. Who's the best team in the league? Are they the best team in the NFC after week 5? Like, I mean, that was the Vikings last year. They were 5-0. Anyway, let's check in with the stuff that matters.
All right.
Convenience.
Do you question if this was all in good fun?
All right, let's check in with Blake Griffin and Vince Carter. Poppy, do you know where Vince Carter is right now?
He's with the Cowboys, right?
Ooh.
Vince Carter's with the Cowboys.
No,
Who was he
Dallas
thinking?
Cowboys.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait a second. The Dallas Maverick. Wait, I got that.
Oh, okay, that's much better. Okay. Store in Kalamazoo.
The My Cousin Vinny situation.
Okay. Oh, he's hiding the gun. Oh, because somebody came in. That person was very wise. Money, a gun, I'm going to
coward.
Yeah. And this guy.
Did he bring a bag?
Oh!
What happened there?
What? Whoa!
How do you not think this through?
I mean, he's just giving money, give me my money, give me my money. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have your gun! Yeah! I mean,
That was both a great play by the clerk who was watching that happen and a terrible play by the thief who came in, who showed up without something to hold the money in.
Okay, but let me explain. Because that happened, that thief now has not only this shame, but also the $4 he left that place with. Like, I mean, that guy took 4 bills. Everything fell on the floor.
Didn't even have a bra to stuff it in. Just, I'm going to take it and go.
You know, his gun costs more than $4, though.
That's right. This is it. No, yes, I hadn't even thought of that. That guy went in there to steal, and he lost money on the transaction.
So it must have a terrible credit score, that guy.
Coming up next on my son Stevie's show.
Bring it back! Ah! She ain't gonna kick both up on her head. And she bang! Drop!
So if your car is out there, you might want to move that. I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
Marshawn, I've really liked working with you.
Thank you.
This broadcast from the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Time to play the game that thinks pumpkin-flavored drinks are vastly overrated. See?
No, they're delicious. No, what are you talking about? Tell us what's on television tonight. We'll tell you if we're intrigued or not.
On Fox Sports 1, Game 1, Yankees and Astros.
Yeah, the Yankees are an exceptional baseball team, and they're the worst team remaining in these playoffs, even though they're really good, because these have been some good baseball teams. Let's check in here with Didi. Izzy told you yesterday we didn't give him enough love in that game yesterday, game 2 days ago.
Pay some attention to this man. He's actually hitting home runs.
Yes.
What you want Aaron Judge to do, this guy's doing it.
Yes, he's been really good, and just puts his head down, too, just like if it's the most normal thing in the world. Here, just going to run to first base.
Bored to death.
Yeah. Izzy, are you intrigued?
I am intrigued, not so much to see if Didi gets any more pub, but I really want to see Jose Altuve just outslug the heck out of Aaron Judge. I just want to see that mismatch happen and him just blow him out of the water.
That
just
would
hit
be
4 or
funny.
5 bombs in this series and Judge do nothing.
Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. 7 games. Aaron Judge is going to strike out about 40 times. You watch. You watch. It's going to be the beginning of a hell of a streak, a strikeout streak, you know. He's going to establish a major league record in strikeouts.
He's getting a lot of at-bats in this series. Like, everyone else is hitting, but 7 games, that's 6 strikeouts a game for 7 games. And I treated that very seriously, as if it was sabermetrics.
Streaming on Facebook via Bleacher Report, No Script.
Oh, this is Marshawn Lynch's new show. And I remember a couple of years ago, I was talking about Marshawn Lynch. And I'm like, man, he behaves so weird with the media. Is it social anxiety disorder? What is happening there? No, he just doesn't like mainstream media very much because he preferred to do this with Facebook and Bleacher Report.
All right, y'all good? Now I gotta get my whip.
Drop that.
She ain't finna kick both of them up on her head. And she bang!
So if your car is out there, you might want to move that.
I'm a peacock, you gotta let me fly!
Marshawn, I really liked working with you.
Thank you.
Who you mad at? So now y'all get to get introduced to my world. This guy here. Whoa! Not on the J's, scientist! It's a little you can pour it on, but the J's is not one!
Sorry about that.
Nah, scientist.
So to be clear, he does not have a social anxiety disorder. My speculation on this front was rather silly. Izzy, are you intrigued?
I mean, as much as I would watch a show just for the sentence, not on the Jays, scientist, what was that? On Bleacher Report via Facebook?
Yeah.
Well, there's no way I'll find it. I'll have no way of finding that, so I'm not going to
What
say
a
it.
great idea for a television show. Hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have a woman. She's going to take plates and throw them on her head. And we're going to have Marshawn Lynch just standing there watching. This should replace this show at 4:30 Eastern every day on ESPN. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Are you kidding me? I didn't know that Marshawn was so funny. You know, every time you see him on TV, he has this sour look in his face. You know, he's a hell of a guy. You know, he's funny. He's always running around trying to crack a joke. You know, that's the Marshawn Lynch I want to know. I don't want to know the other guy. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be glued to that TV set.
Okay, but it's not on the television. You'll be looking at your television. It'll be on your computer.
Okay.
You're just looking at a blank television. It's not even on.
Oh, well, then I will watch porn. That's all.
Okay, there you go. That's all he gets on the computer. All right, well, let's get into that now. Can we go now? Get into our weekend porn and poppies. Woo!
I'm out.
No, Izzy, that doesn't sound nice to you. You're out, are you?
That's all the time we'll have for today. Thank you for watching.
Izzy's back with us next week. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.
See you in lunes. El lunes?